All right, we're good to go.
Reckless will wait until you say something in chat. Curious to see what leads we see there.
Looking at Mamox 45. What's his team name? Mamox 45.
Team 4 or whatever. I mean, he's got a lot of play on that team for what he's doing with the Infernape. The Uxie could be a Sack Uxie or a lead Uxie. You could start out with the U-turners. U-turn regenerate antics.
I think
Well,
he's
I
gonna
think,
get
Zapdos.
rocks out, right?
yeah, ASAP. Stealth Rocks ASAP.
If he's running it, I agree, which is where we're seeing this Uxie potentially as a lead Uxie here, but he could also just try and set up screens and go ham.
We'll see. His Uxie his build with it last time was not the screens, if I remember right. It was just kind of the more utility Uxie.
Yeah, I believe so. I think it was a bit of a mix. He still had the memento on it. The interesting thing about this matchup is neither are really threatening each other, and it's very build dependent on how these two are going to interact with each other. Yeah, Zapdos is getting the information that coast is kind of clear. It's just an Uxie out there. Lander's going to come in, get off and intimidate. Stealth Rock's coming out from the Uxie. So yes to the typical lead on the Uxie. There's a U-turn off of it. Lando getting his own rocks off there. Mammox's main way, just looking at the team, would be defog for dealing with the rocks, so he'd have to remove his own. Reckless premium defoggers on his team, so the rocks are either here to stay or someone's got to get rid of them. Notably, that Charizard is not mega'd, so it does not have any insulation on the rocks. It's double weak.
Yeah, Zapdos is
I
a
would
typical
guess.
defogger. I don't know about Tapu Fini, but
Tapu Fini can, very common. The Superior also can potentially run defog. Its move pool's kind of open because you're pretty much just smashing your big leaf attack for your pump. And there we see a Z move, Supersonic Sky Strike, just going to take out the Tangrowth flat out, removing a big wall. No advantage from the Regenerator.
So what was that? That was unlocking, I guess, maybe the
That was
Bisharp.
a Supersonic Sky Strike is, I believe, the flying.
Mm-hmm. That is the
So
flying one.
the big issue with the genies is that they don't have great flying move pools. So using things like that allow you to get away with running things like fly, and just use it as the Z move. An icy wind slowing down the Tapu Fini. Typically, you build the Tapu Fini bulky, but its base stats are good enough to kind of carry it through a lot.
Nice. Big defog. That's huge.
It's going to free up the Charizard, but he did also get rid of his own rocks. But he has gotten good chip out of it. The Tornadus isn't able to just kind of sit out here indefinitely. It's going to want to proc its Regenerator. Tapu Fini's able to threaten it out with great coverage moves with Ice Beam. Could just blast a Scald into him. And notably, with terrain, the Tornadus isn't getting any advantage from the terrain. It still can be status affected because it is not grounded as a flying type. Zapdos gonna come
Ooh.
in. Yeah, and there we see it, the
Static.
paralysis. Yeah, yeah, the static able to
Huge.
proc. Neither of these Pokemon grounded, neither of them getting advantage from the terrain.
I think if you're Mamo, you get Uxie back out. Yep, there it is. Go ahead and work on getting your Stealth Rocks back.
And here you just bring in the Charizard. You got to. Um,
Either the Charizard or the Tapu Fini.
yeah, the Tapu Fini would be more of a conservative play, but I kind of like pivoting to the Zard here. You know what's coming from the Uxie. Get your Mega Evolution off and get a Dragon
I
Dance.
very much agree. Yeah, with X, it's just so important to get uh that Mega Evolution off while the coast is clear. But he's gonna go for the conservative play there. We're almost definitely gonna see more rocks come out.
Well, and he's here to defog it right away.
I guess I was off on my moves. I don't know. Yeah, there goes the Stealth Rocks. And there's a taunt. The Tapu Fini's packing the taunt, a supportive Tapu Fini.
Yeah, and see, Tapu's just going to defog here, so.
Yeah, the terrain is missing now, so if the Tapu Fini is running Scald, I typically ran Surf on mine because of the terrain. But there just goes the defog, just going to take the turns till at full health with that leftover tick. Mamox struggling to kind of break through this wall of Tapu Fini Zapdos. The Hurricane coming up, just getting eaten by Zapdos. But he has removed the item from the Zapdos, so that is some progress. He just needs to find some way to get one of his other pieces in where it can make forward momentum. And the Zapdos is just really a tricky one with two of his Pokemon being fighters. Just the resistance and making it difficult to get through. And there's the paralysis proc letting the landers have a clear entry and getting that intimidate off. Any knockoffs or U-turns won't hurt as much now. Stealth Rock coming back up for Reckless. The U-turn going off. Keldeo gonna try and make an entry. Gotta imagine it's an icy wind here unless he's calling the swap.
We've seen him go to Tapu against Keldeo. Curious if that's going to be. Goes to Zapdos.
Yeah, trying for a more offensive swap there.
Mm-hmm.
The Sacred Sword would have been resisted by either with the flying or the fairy typing. Mammox going
Nice
back to
roost.
Tornadus. A risky play against the Zapdos. I imagine that if it does have some attacking, it's going to be something like the Discharge. And there's the Discharge, super effective, 49% U-turn. Tornadus is just kind of coming in, barely doing anything to the Zapdos, just kind of wasting a turn. But Infernape is now in safely. Big Stone Edge potential here.
Goes up to 11.
Yeah, could also just go straight in for an overheat or something like that, depending on the Infernape build, of course. Uh, and there's the
Ooh,
Stone Edge miss.
that hurts.
And Land Edge is going to come in, spread and more intimidate. We're really seeing a lot better play from Reckless in this one, protecting his Lando a bit more and getting good intimidate procs, good rocks, re-rocking, just good general value Landorus. And here comes the Keldeo. I just got to point out again that this Keldeo is just a dumb donkey. It's not even a horse. It's a donkey that went into the bathroom and it had one of those little tubes in the middle of the toilet paper and it was out and it took it and it fucking stuck it to its head. It's not even shiny. I just don't understand the point of Keldeo. I'm a hater.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. This Keldeo is probably going to outspeed the Zapdos. So, you got to be wondering, is he just going to click Icy Wind here? Is Connor going to try to force him out and not see the speed difference?
He'll probably swap to the Tapu Fini here. I don't think he wants to just give up the Zapdos. Go ahead and reset the Zapdos on its speed. Come back in when you can
Yep,
roost. Yeah.
there
Yeah,
you go.
get your Misty Terrain down. Yeah, and you can take those all day.
Now we see only 11% out of a crit, but the speed drop could potentially matter again. Its base speed isn't the worst, but it typically isn't running investment.
I'm wondering if now's potentially a good time for him to go to try to get his Mega in and make something happen.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
and there we see he's got the
Oh
wrong berry.
no. That's
The berry
embarrassing.
he has equipped is a confusion berry on
Mm,
what his
EVs.
character is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So if he's like plus defense minus attack, let's
Mm.
say, Barry
Hate to
says,
see it.
get confused if you're minus attack. And this tornado's gonna have to come out. Another defog coming out. Reckless gonna have to try and reset his own rocks again if he wants to continue that game.
Well, and that's something that Mamo needs to keep a note here is, you know, Reckless is more than happy to clear the field. And to force that is something that he can play to his advantage if he just sets it up again.
I imagine what he's saying to himself is, why did I not bring taunt? He has many good taunters. He loves the move taunt, and it doesn't appear that he's setting himself up to taunt the Tapu Fini to counter the defog. So I imagine that he has just made an error in building, at least in the direction of these rock wars.
Well, I think Mamox is probably looking to swap here, get his regenerator back up. I'm just curious if he's going to use this to see if he can get his Mega Mawile out to start trying to chip away at something.
Oh, and a
Ooh,
paralysis proc potentially going for the U-turn there.
RNG
Yep,
is
swap
being
this.
pretty harsh with Mamox right now. He cannot catch a break.
Well, he's also been playing the game a bit. He's got the status. He's got the low accuracy moves. His hurricane did hit,
That's fair.
but no confusion proc. And that berry was self done. And here comes the donkey again. Landers will reset the rocks, switch away. Tapu Fini comes back out. The big weakness of Tapu Fini is that it doesn't have reliable healing. A great way to get healing on Tapu Fini is have it as your Z captain, so you can run it with Icium Z, with Z Haze to remove stat buffs, and also potentially have Ice Beam, so you can go either way with it, depending on how the match goes. But that's a lot of commitment to it, and that's a one-time full heal. But still, with its raw stats and just these leftovers, this thing's really hanging in there. Mamox is struggling to have a form of way to break it.
Well, he
I
needs
imagine
to
his
push
Tornadus,
damage.
yeah, his Tornadus, although broken at this point, it could have some poison moves or something to attack fairies, which we're not seeing. Infernape also, I believe, could have some coverage for that. There's still a chance with Mawile. There's always a chance with Mawile. But as long as that Landers is sitting back there, there's a guaranteed intimidate out for it.
Interesting time to swap to Mawile.
Yeah, I think he is just expecting the defog and to try and get it in.
But there's nothing to for Connor to defog. But I guess I see what you're saying that he was predicting the stealth rock.
Well, you know, you're totally right. I'm looking at the stealth rock on the wrong side. Yeah, I'm not sure it could just be him looking for any way to kind of break through. Mawile can be that to kind of create an opening, but the rest of his team has just kind of taken a beating against Reckless's wall.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but Tapu Fini's not gonna like a sucker punch. So
It's fine with it. The fairy will resist.
is that right? Okay, my bad.
Yeah, the thing that he
Um,
needs for it is he needs the steel coverage or the steel stab
that's
is
right. Yeah,
really. But there we see that Intimidate already going off. The Sword Stance will get him one boost up, so kind of countering that Intimidate.
that is significant. I mean, I don't think the Lander survives. Wow, he did. That's bad. Oh,
Big Earthquake there. Keldeo coming back in. Reckless could leave the Landorus in to just try and push some damage and let it go. Or he could try and save it to get, another free entry or something, a trigger on Intimidate. Mamox double swapping, Tapu Fini coming out. And this is where you really run into an issue where the Uxie Tapu Fini, they can both potentially be Doolittle Pokemon, but Tapu Fini, because it's of the way that it is, it just kind of pushes damage forward on a lot of its moves. There's the Defog still going to protect for his Charizard. The U-turn's going to come out. Infernape back in. And with the Uxie down, the way should be clear, unless the Infernape is also running rocks for some reason, but doubtful. Mammox definitely seeming to run into some struggles in the beginning of this season. It's the curse of the Keldeo Infernape. We've seen it twice now in our drafts.
Pretty sad. Pretty sad.
Yeah, just
don't stop believing.
with the Mawile down, most of my hope is dead. I'm not sure what this Infernape has for the Tapu Fini. I'm not sure who's overcooking at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, all Reckless has to do is really just push damage, and just numerically, he wins no matter what.
Yeah, he hasn't even brought in his real damaging guys yet to try and go for any push. He hasn't had to. He's been able to rely on his walls. He could have potentially had some openings to bring those guys in, but you can't fault him for making the safer plays, trying to get more scouting, as well as waiting for Mammox to try and present something that can actually break any of these walls.
It's possible he still has Calm Mind on his Keldeo. I mean, there's that, but Keldeo's just gonna get slept by the superior, so it's tough.
It'll just get murdered by the superior. The superior's faster.
That's right. That's why I say slept. It's what the kids say. You know what I'm saying? We're hip.
For slept, I would think of it having a common move on it, like sleep powder.
Nah, nah, nah. We're no cap.
Definitely an
Bringing in the
MVP to
evil
the
here.
Tapu Fini here in this match.
Really impressive wall. But if he had knocked that leftovers off, 20 turns ago, he would have been a lot better off wearing this Tapu down. It's been able to just sit there and just take its health back up while Mamo's trying to figure out what do I do against this thing.
Yeah, yeah. Back to its big weakness of being the lack of healing in
Hmm.
its move pool.
Yeah, that
That's
that
exactly true.
knockoff was huge. Uh, Had he done that originally, I think he could have worn this Tapu down, and we'd be looking at a little bit of a different matchup.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Donkey
think that-
sweeps. Oh
What
my.
a
And that
useless
will
donkey.
wrap it up.
Go back to your dragon wife
Dude.
donkey. Back to
Oh
your
my
dragon wife
god.
donkey.
Free
Oh